did you feel made the Mets a good fit for you?
Um, they're a team that wants to win, you know. Um, Steve's doing all he can to put a winning product out on the field, and I'd love to be a part of that.
Just in terms, I mean, I know you've already been acclimated to New York. How did you feel like you got more comfortable in the second half, and how do you feel that that can translate to now your tenure with the Mets?
Yeah, I mean um, it's familiar now. I know what I'm gonna need to do in order to get to the field and all things like that. Getting home, just life stuff. So I've got all that figured out already. And I'm comfortable there.
Will?
Hey, Devin, thanks for doing this. Obviously, the Mets have been tied to Edwin Diaz. He's their former closer, free agency. Just what was like your approach to considering the Mets and ultimately deciding to sign with them when Edwin is a free agent and a possibility to again rejoin the Mets?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just, a good situation. If he comes back, I think we're gonna have a really good back end of the pen. So, more good arms is always a good thing. Hmm, That's really it.
We'll go with Abby Mastracco from Daily News.
Hey, Devin, Abby from the Daily News. Have you been able to sort of dissect your last season with the Yankees? Your underlying analytics were all pretty much on par for the rest of your career, but obviously there were some struggles last year. Have you been able to like figure out anything from last season?
Um, I feel like there was kind of a lot of factors, really. Some mechanical, some like, pitch selection type stuff, looking back on it. Just kind of reflecting on that and using that to, help me prepare for this next season.
Is there any one aspect you think you're going to be able to take into next season, or any major things that you found that you'll take into next season to improve upon?
I think it's really just to, continue to get better at what I'm already good at, and then, kind of expand my arsenal a little bit, which is something I've been working on. But yeah, I'm excited to really, get to put it to use next year.
Thank you.
We'll go with Bill Ladson from MLB.com.
How's it going, Devin? Devin, you have a relationship with David Stern that dates back to Milwaukee. Could you talk about how much that relationship helped you sign with the Mets? And also, you had a great June. And how can that great June carry over into 2026?
I mean, as far as Stearns goes, I'm familiar with the way that he wants the organization run, the way that they want to do things and their process. So, I think it's another, familiarity for me. So it's all comfortable. Um, as far as my June, I don't know. We played 3 months after that, so I thought I ended the year on a pretty good run the last 2 months. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna take that and try and carry it over into next season.
Great. We'll go with Mark Sanchez from the New York Post.
Hey Devin, congrats. You
Thank you.
mentioned wanting to expand your arsenal. Just what do you have in mind?
Yeah, I've been tinkering with the cutter. Maybe increase the usage on that. Um, kind of, I don't know, a slidery type gyro slider. Just playing with those two, seeing if I can, add those to what I do and give myself a little more breathing room with the fastball and changeup.
Was that your idea to do? What have you been in touch with the Mets about this, or I guess how did this develop?
I mean, it's really something that I felt I needed to do for a while, but I just really haven't put it into play yet, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I've been working on for years now, and it can be a really good pitch for me. I just need to use it.
Thank you.
We'll go with Mark Roseman.
Hey, Devin, welcome to Queens. Thanks for doing this today. So, one of the questions I had for you is you have a pitch that's unique to you, the airbender. From the time you started, obviously technology has changed. How much did you lean on that technology to refine that pitch? And also, did you find there was a difference early in April? Obviously, Milwaukee, you're playing indoors, than this year in New York. It's a little colder. Is there a difference in the grip and the way that pitch, the shape that pitch takes?
Yeah, obviously like developing it, it's just all feel, right? Like before we had like TrackMan and the Edgertronic and stuff. You're just doing it off of feel. You don't really have a measurement of what your pitch is actually doing. So after it was already, something I was good at, it was something that I, refined in a sense of being consistent, like being able to create consistent shapes and not being bigger or smaller. Um, just kind of finding that consistency for myself. Uh, what was the second part of your question?
You mentioned the weather in April in Milwaukee compared to New York.
Yeah, I mean, it was cold, obviously, but I've pitched in cold weather before. Um, I think it's just, something that you just have to deal with as the season goes on.
Go with Jerry Beach.
Hey, Devin, Jerry Beach with the Associated Press. Um, did you sign earlier than you thought you might have when this process started? And was there any thought of waiting until the winter meetings when things get a little more, there's a lot more teams involved?
Sorry, I couldn't understand you.
I asked when this process started for agency, did you sign quicker than you would have anticipated? And was there any thought to waiting until next week at the winter meetings when things get really chaotic?
Honestly, I didn't really think that it was that fast for me. But yeah, it was a process. I felt like we took our time with it. The teams that were interested reached out and, we had conversations with them and ultimately we decided to, sign with the Mets.
Mark Healy.
Hey, Devin, welcome to New York with the Mets. My question is about the pitching lab. Obviously, you with David Stearns, you have a familiarity with how they go about preparing pitchers and preparing roles for the upcoming season. So did that have, an attractability for you, knowing that, obviously it's going to be a new pitching coach, but did that familiarity with David Stearns and how he operates, with the pitching lab, did that play into your decision to sign with the Mets?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have a track record of, kind of helping guys improve on things that they already do and maybe, adding in a few things. So, um, I think that they'll be able to help me and, I'm really curious to see, what they have for me.
Jerry again.
Hey, Devin, sorry, just a follow up. Obviously, there's a chance you'll be the closer here, depending what happens with Edwin. Were there any teams you discussed that you just talked to that would have offered you the closer's job guaranteed out of the shoot?
Um, I mean, every team I talked to was for the closer role.
And Mark again.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that. So obviously bullpens have evolved and sometimes the seventh inning is just as important as the ninth inning. But being a closer, does your mentality need to change if you are not the closer mentally coming to the ballpark every day?
I think that's more of, just being prepared, mentally and physically. If you're going to be in before the ninth inning, you just need to be ready earlier. I don't think that really changes your mindset at all. It's just a preparation thing.